Welcome one and all to SimSpeed TV this fantastic Thursday evening. It's the Oceanic Formula 3 Championship, of course, presented by Oceanic Sim Racing. We are proud to bring you live pictures of it here at SimSpeed TV. We're at Sebring for this round of the series. It's the third last round of the season, and it kicks off a very brutal way of capping off the season. 3 rounds to end it. We're at Sebring this week, then we go to Belle Isle, then we go to Laguna Seca. 3 brutal American tracks to cap off what has been a very exciting season of racing. Reese Gardner here, and alongside me, David Haynes. David, I'm looking forward to this one. Sebring, a very tough track, especially in these cars.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you that the championship standings as they are really on the basis of drivers who've managed to just get race results and get finishes. It's a difficult car to drive. The attrition's been pretty significant in all of the races we've seen, and those 3 tracks you mentioned that we're finishing the season up with, they're all, in any car, circuits that you need to survive. And here at Sebring, well, you think about it nowadays, you think about sports prototypes, you think about GT racing, but it did host Formula 1, it did host the US Grand Prix for a couple of years in the 1950s. It's no stranger to some open wheel racing, and that's what we're going to give her tonight.
Exactly. Big field Formula 3 cars here tonight. The standings, the championship standings are up on the screen, as you can see. My God, it's looking quite interesting, David.
Yeah, right up the top in position number 1, Adam Briggs of DPR Racing. He's had a couple of podiums. I think he's had at least 1 win, but most of all, as I said, just made the checkered flag, made good results every round. Second place is Alex McKellar, 209 points adrift. I believe a win is 300 in this series, so it's not a bad little lead that Adam Briggs has got himself. Aaron Lee, well, we've talked plenty about him in recent races, a very exciting driver to watch for Evolution Racing Team. He is just 50 or so points shy of Alex McKellar, so that's a close one there as well. 4th place is Cameron Dance. 5th is Guy Leach. 6th is Simon Black. 7th is Reese Keenan. In 8th position in those standings after 9 rounds is Damon Stockton.
Yeah, that's some very impressive performances from quite a few drivers here. It's been the story of the season that he or she who spins the least is the one to cross the finish line in first, because it's been rare that we've had a Formula 3 race without at least the majority of the field coming a cropper somehow. So really shows what these drivers can do if they put their mind to it. Race preview up on the screen at the moment. Now, this race is going to be 23 laps in length, David, and the track information is looking pretty good for racing as well. 22-degree air temperature, 24 track temperature.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of drivers have some problems when the track temperatures are too hot. These are cars where you can feel like you're really going far too slow until you try and take the corner a tiny bit faster and very quickly realize you're in way too hot. And when you lose control of one of these cars, you lose control of them quickly. So I personally think partly cloudy, 25 degrees Celsius right now on track, that's pretty good. So what we've got is a 23-lap race and a compulsory 4-tire pit stop.
Yes, indeed. That's the usual state of play in this particular series. Don't have to stop for fuel, but must put more boots on the car at some point. And the vast majority of races we've seen, drivers have gone for splitting the race in 2 at the halfway point. But we've seen a couple of drivers experimenting with new strategies at places like Interlagos and Road America. How do you think people are going to fare here?
I think the easiest strategy that requires the least thinking is that pit at halfway. Certainly, if you're up the front of the pack, it can make sense to stay out a little bit longer. But as the warm-up session is done, Reese, I think it's time to look at our starting grid.
Yes, indeed. The starting grid shall appear on the screen very shortly, and presently Cameron Dance has managed to nab pole for this one, and Gary Hamilton is joining him on the first row of the grid. Adam Briggs, your championship leader in third. Guy Leach and Emily Jones rounding out the top 5. Sam Doby and Alex McKellar behind them. Rounding out the top 10, we've got Jamie McKnight, Sean Carron, and Alex John.
11th place is Reese Keane. 12th is Trevor Forster. 13th is Craig Newell. 14th, Derek Mobbs. 15th, Simon Black. We saw he's inside the top 8 in the championship standing. 16th, John Nicolay. 17th, Scott Harvey. 18th, Vincent Skilbeck. 19th, Hayden Dodman. And 20th is Mitchell McLeod.
And rounding out your 26-car field tonight, we've got Bulkwill, Leah McAvoy, Court, Barnes, and Fewens rounding out grid. We are about to get going here. Lights will come up and the drivers will get going. Very low grip surface here at Sebring on the concrete. Who's going to get it off the line the best? They are away. Looks like a pretty good start from Dance, a very good start from Sam Doby, and also Sean Carron is making his way up the inside in the background there, but yielding a bit into turn 1. It's looking pretty clean up the front through this very fast sequence of turns at Sebring, but we do have a couple of cars around in the background. That's a pretty big crash. Quite a few drivers in the field involved in that one. Not sure how that one was caused.
Neither, but Mitchell McLeod is one of those drivers. He's parked it, and I think he's going to get a flatbed truck to get his car off the circle. Have a replay of what happened there.
Yes, indeed. It just looks to me as they come into turn 1, McLeod went quite hard into turn 1 and just made a bit of contact with John Nicolaf, spun him around, and then quite a few other drivers caught up in that. Real shame to see.
Looks like he was expecting Nicolaf to track out a little bit wider than he did. So that's, yeah, unfortunate. Quite a few mangled cars in the back there. Look back to the lead of the race. Cameron Dance is still leading it, but he's not getting away from Gary Hamilton at all.
No, he's not. It's actually quite close for the lead here. Hamilton right on the back, and Briggs putting them both under some immense pressure. Oh, Guy Leach having a couple of issues there in the number 46 machine. But that battle for the lead, surely where it's at here. Dance has got a bad run out of the corner. Either that or he's running a ton more downforce, because have a look at the run Hamilton has got around the outside here. This is only the end of lap 1. This might be what we can we'll be able to see for the rest of the race. Hamilton, yeah, you can see it right there. Hamilton just losing a bit of ground in the corners, but he's starting to catch up a little teeny bit on the straights, so Dance must have a bit more downforce on that thing.
Yeah, that could very well be possible. The slipstream also pretty powerful in these cars. That back stretch, the front stretch, and then we've got the run after this complex of corners down towards the hairpin. All of those going to make it very difficult for Cameron Dance to get away from Gary Hamilton. Also dragging Adam Briggs along, and Emily Jones is sitting in 4th place, just watching closely. In 5th place, Jamie McKnight is up 3 positions from where he started, so he's had a very good first lap as his contact between Hamilton and Briggs.
There we go, both of them. Big issues at the hairpin. A couple of other drivers almost getting involved in that, going straight to a replay there. On board with Briggs, we're going to see what happened. This looks to me like Hamilton just went through the turn a bit slow, went wide, and Briggs continued going on through there. Unfortunately, turning Hamilton round.
Massively misjudged the speed at which Hamilton was going. There's damage to the car of Adam Briggs, and I was praising his consistency of our championship leader, but he's having some problems here. It's probably recoverable at this point. He could pit now, and that would be legal for his compulsory pit stop, because it would be at the end of lap 2.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That is a big rule that we need to keep in our minds. The pit window opens on lap 2 and closes on the penultimate lap. Emily Jones with an issue. I think she has managed to nab herself a slowdown, because she has gone right behind that pack of cars. Dance is now all alone out in the lead.
Yeah, you could even say he's dancing off into the sunset. and it would be
Oh,
somewhat
God.
true around this circuit because he put in a 1 minute 52.9. It's the first flying lap of the race, and it's the fastest lap of the race. He is more than 5 seconds clear of Jamie McKnight, who I was saying was up a couple of positions. Well, now he's up 6 into second place, and Alex McKellar has third place.
Yeah, tell you what, McKnight, he's looked a bit uncomfortable through those last couple of corners. The last and the first. McKellar and Leach really catching up to him there. Oh, goodness me, Sean Caron has just had a spin of his own into the tyre barrier there. Just getting a bit loose on the exit. Very easy to do at this track, and it just goes to show these cars, they're already hard to drive, but at Sebring, they are a different matter entirely.
Yeah, Caron got a teeny bit, just the smidge of a curb on the exit there, with the car fully loaded, with the throttle presumably wide open and a bunch of steering angles. Touching that curb was near instant death. Of course, these are cars that are riding pretty low to the ground, and some of the curbs in a few places around this circuit are very severe.
Yeah, they certainly are. Sam Doby and Reese Keane having a nice little fight at the moment. Doby tried to put one up the inside of him just a few moments ago. This battle is, I think, a typical one of what you would see in the midfield.
Swap
around this
positions
time.
behind them.
Yeah.
Newell and Mobbs are side by side. Mobbs just backs out. Craig Newell holds on to 9th place. Better run through Lamar corner.
Oh, no. No, that's not going to work.
Oh, no. Unfortunate straight into the wall there for Derek Mobbs, picking up too much grass, trying to keep the throttle in. That gets Craig Newell off the hook. I think our best battle is second on down, though.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Jamie McKnight is doing very well holding off second place there, but Emily Jones is managing to bring herself further up the field once again, recovering well from her earlier slowdown. Alex McKellar right behind her, Guy Leach ahead. So these guys, I think, just biding their time until the optimum time to pit comes round.
Yeah, because we say it just about every round that the cold tyres on this car can be quite treacherous. So whenever you take your compulsory pit stop and you get a new set of tyres, you have to be so careful on your outlap. And if you time that poorly, if you come out into a battle, it can be very dangerous for you. About Emily Jones, we saw she took the victory at Interlagos, and then the week afterwards crashed on the outlap on cold tyres at Alton Park.
McKellar in the wall, we are hearing, so that is extremely unfortunate for him. Gonna get a replay of that one. He was right behind Jones and just caught, I think it was a concrete seam, and lost traction completely there.
And you knew that thing was going to the wall a long time before it hit, locked up all the tyres, and it just wasn't stopping, and he's tapped the front wing on the barrier.
Leach on McKnight, though. I'm sorry to interrupt. Leach on McKnight. Leach has just managed to pass McKnight into Sunset Bend. That is a change for what is second place now.
McKnight is McKnight carrying a traffic cone.
Yeah, I think that's just you. I can't see that.
Well, it looks amazing on my end. And also amazing is McKnight trying to get back into second. Guy Leach crosses him back underneath. It's a bit of a speedway move. It's a classic defensive maneuver. Let the other guy get in too hot. Guy Leach grabs second place from Jamie McKnight.
Yes, indeed, and that's a classic open wheel battle strategy you see there, especially into a turn like the first one at Sebring. Further back in the field, we're seeing quite a few people getting spaced out. Not many battles going on at the moment, but I am keeping an eye on Gary Hamilton. He has pitted to repair whatever damage he had, and is now back out in 15th position. A very long way down, but he is still lapping consistently.
Exactly. If you can get to the finish of this race, you'll still get some good points. The points go a long way down the finishing order. So it's a couple of names that we saw in the top 8 that I think might not be here. So if you can just keep showing up every round, keep scoring some good points, there'll definitely be rewards for that. Jamie McKnight, I think, is very soon going to come under pressure from Emily Jones, who's found just a little bit of rhythm.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Early race dramas for Emily Jones. So have a look at McKnight, showing the strength of the slipstream right there as he closes back up to Guy Leach. That's quite impressive from those guys. And look, he's going to do it again. Look at the run that he has behind the rear bumper of Leach's car. Side by side coming into turn 1. Is Leach going to do the same thing he did a lap ago? Oh, he's on his way to giving it a go. Having a lob. But to no avail, it seems. McKnight, though, really struggling with that wheel.
McKnight saw the move coming, but yeah, you can see a lot of wheel work, struggling to hold that thing together. That's cost McKnight and Leach a little bit of time. Jones is just sitting behind, watching Leach, gets the slipstream down towards the hairpin, goes to the inside, decides he can't brake deep enough. And so McKnight still holds that position, and this is one of the best battles we've got right here. Leach and McKnight seem pretty evenly matched, but with strengths in different areas, and that's always exciting to watch.
Yeah, it always is, especially in a spec series like this. Remember, they are all driving the same car, right down to the way everything minute is simulated. So it really comes down to your driving style, your choice of downforce settings, where you've decided to make the springs softer or firmer. It all matters in every single section here at Sebring. You will never have a perfect car for this kind of circuit, I would wager. Have a look at Leach. He's threatening, ever threatening to make that move. I think he's in a good position here because his main worry has been McKnight drawing up to him on the straight, but now shoe is on the other foot. Leach may be able to get by McKnight here. You can see he's not getting much of a run, and not as much of a run as McKnight would have given that position, but they're going through it once again. I feel like this is, McKnight, a little bit of oversteer from him and a little wide on the exit, but I get the feeling they're just going to keep doing this for the rest of the race, the way they're going.
Could potentially be. Jones is still sitting in 4th place. McKnight looks towards the inside in turn 1. Don't think he's going to do anything this time, and Leach might just get the chance to scamper away through the middle sector, because it's the back stretch before sunset, and it's the main straight that the straight line speed of Jamie McKnight looks absolutely strongest. Leach, though, was always looking good on the brakes.
Yeah, that is a good point. You can already see it's starting to make a difference. Leach managed to pull a great gap in the opening tight section, and just managed to pull out a little bit more of a gap on McKnight there, who's rapidly coming under threat from Jones. But you watch out for McKnight once they get to the back straight. That's where he is definitely going to shine. But for now, you can see Leach with a much better handle on that car's suspension and handling characteristics.
Through Tower Bend, that's a difficult corner in any car. Pretty bumpy, teeny bit of banking to it, late apex. You can struggle there in a GT car, let alone something like these Formula 3 cars. Very, very tough. And so Leach has a couple car lengths over McKnight, who's really only got 2 or so car lengths over Emily Jones. Exit out of Le Mans corner onto this backstretch. Very, very important. This is where McKnight has a chance to close up some of the gap, but it's nearly a second, and Jones is going to consider trying to take McKnight.
Yep, definitely seems that way. McKnight going extra wide in the last turn. He's late apexing it. I would wager that he would immediately get Jones back here. You can see that McKnight definitely has one of the lower downforce cars here. Well, they go side by side into turn 1. It's not a very wise thing to do at this early stage of the race. They both realize that. That is what they are going to do. So McKnight continuing to just stay ahead here, but that was a poor exit. Jones might get him here.
Jones is looking. McKnight hugs the inside, so Jones is going to have to break around the outside. Don't quite see it happening. She tries. She turns in, and McKnight was a teeny bit wide, and they bang wheels. Both of them carry on. I don't see any bent panels. I think that was just wheel to wheel, but Jones entitled to turn in there. McKnight pushed a little bit wide. Now Jones is going to have another go.
Yep, here we go. There is a little bit of damage on McKnight's front left quarter. There we go. He's gone too deep once again, gone wide. Jones is being very manipulative here. We're on board with Emily. And it's that kind of driving. It's the psychological edge that we talk about so often. You see so many drivers doing it to each other, just those little fake outs, those little desperate lunges to unsettle your opponent, force them into making a mistake. Unfortunately, that from Jones, I think was not very intentional.
Yeah, she gets away with it this time, I think, but that is where Jones picked up a slowdown on the previous lap. So let's McKnight get away for the moment, and I'm seeing on my timing screen a little bit of a battle for 10th place.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Trevor Forster and Chris Barnes. Forster on a bit of a charge here. He was actually...
Up 2 spots this lap.
Yeah, down in 12th place last time by. He had pitted earlier, so that is likely what we're seeing from Mr. Forster. Pitted on lap 3, we hear, so he's one of the very early adopters of a pit strategy. And Fewens had odd spin into the wall coming out of Le Mans.
Big incident, if I'm honest. He's missing his entire front assembly there. Is the CMR driver. Looking at the replay myself right here, he's lost the rear very, very early in the corner. Tried to hold the slide, but you just can't do that with these open wheel cars. Once they're gone, they're a little bit gone. It's not like driving a Porsche Cup car or some other higher horsepower, low downforce car where a little bit of a slide, you can hold it, she'll be right. In this thing, once it was out of control, it was out of control, and Fewens thought he could save it, but he couldn't. It went a long way before he put the brake pedal down and admitted defeat.
Yep, that's exactly it. Unfortunately, it came a bit too late for the state of his car, so it's another battle pack that's unfortunately been split up somewhat.
How has Alex John got past Emily Jones for 4th place? Jones has had a problem somewhere, I assume. Did she actually get a slowdown where I mentioned it was possible?
I am currently rewinding to double check. It looks like it was an incident in the first part of the circuit. Jones actually had a spin. Quite a big one.
Yeah. No damage on the car, but that was the exit of turn 2, was it?
Yeah, turn 2 or turn 3, depending on how you count the turns here.
Okay. Flipping a bit of the curb, I think we have or will get a replay of that. Watching it right now. Just coming up towards turn 2, and I mentioned earlier, and I don't want to sound too prophetic, but there's some nasty curbs around here, and they don't like a lot of cars, but they especially don't like a low-slung open wheeler like this that's already rather sensitive to the bumps. So no damage to the car, but she's just clipped too much of the inside curb, been a bit too greedy, turned in too early, and that's sent her for a little spin. It's put her back to 5th place.
Yeah, and she's had just another issue right now, another spin at the hairpin, went in way, way, way too deep in a pursuit of Alex John and spun the thing around. So now she's in the clutches of Reese Keane and Sam Doby, who have just been plugging away in their respective positions for some time.
Yeah, last lap for Jones, a 1 minute 58. It was Reese Keane and Sam Doby, 1 minute 53s. That's how much she lost on that last lap. 5 seconds or some more. And again, the car is very twitchy through Tower Corner. You've got to throw it in that corner with a lot of confidence, a little bit of banking towards the apex. You just got to trust will turn the car. This is going to be a good battle for 5th place, if I'm honest. Jones isn't looking comfortable anymore. Reese Keane and Sam Doby. Oh, Keane!
Again!
Keeps it out of the wall, but just again, losing the rear of the car on entry to there. There's not a lot of grip on these concrete surfaces. We'll get a replay of Reese Keane and how he managed that spin. Well, half spin, I guess, is what you call that.
Yeah, just getting loose over that concrete on the entry. You're allowed to go outside the track bounds there to extend your entry into Le Mans Curve, which is perfectly fine, but those bumps can really mess with you if you're not careful. And what's resulted is something that we've seen quite a bit in this series with this new car and a bunch of drivers having to get used to it over the course of a championship season. A lot of these races come out to, who's not going to spin, and that number is very low.
Yeah, indeed. And unfortunately, it's sort of robbed us of a lot of the battles we were looking at. My timing screen has no red boxes around it anymore. So I feel like quick top 10 rundown is in order, because Cameron Dance from pole position, a very well-deserved one as well, has skipped away nearly 9 seconds clear of Guy Leach in 2nd place. 3rd place, Jamie McKnight is holding on to that one. 4th place, Alex John, just avoiding all of the carnage, moving him up into 4th place. That's why he's so high in the championship order. That kind of thing, just getting into the top 5 and not overdriving the car. 5th is Emily Jones, who, despite all of the little problems, hasn't hurt the car, which is very, very critical. 6th is Sam Doby. 7th is Reese Keane. 8th is Craig Newell. 9th is Alex Court. And you know what? 10th is Trevor Forster, but he moves it up to 9th. And he's the highest because of a problem for
Alex Court. He just spun, man. So now I think he has found himself down in 11th or 12th.
McKnight. Yeah, we'll get a replay of what happened to Alex Court, and then I'll potentially finish the point I was getting to. So what has happened to Alex Court, Reese?
Well, it's just a simple matter of going in very hard, locking the rears, and spinning it across the apex.
Oh, and Trevor Forster has just avoided missing that, which was going to be the point I was getting to. Is he's now in 9th place. He was the highest running of all of the drivers who had pitted. But while we're looking at that replay of Court, Jamie McKnight has come into the pit lane. He's one of those guys thinking about pitting at the halfway stage of the race. So now he runs in 7th place, has done his compulsory pit stop, and he is ahead of Trevor Forster and Gary Hamilton, who've also taken the required service.
Yes, indeed. So it will be interesting to see where McKnight pans out in all of this. Dance is just coming up to the last few corners of his particular lap. See if he decides to make a move towards the pits. But Forster and Hamilton, they have definitely come together here. Remember, both of these guys having made trips to pit lanes, so this is an all-out battle for position.
Massive speed in a straight line, and Hamilton has gobbled up Trevor Forster down the pit straight into turn 1. What can Forster do about it through the twisty bits?
The twisty bits coming up towards this half of the lap. Gary Hamilton right on the bumper of Trevor Forster now. And coming up to Tower, there's another one of those sections. I've just noticed, actually, Guy Leach has come into the pits as this has happened, and Trevor Forster letting Gary Hamilton go without much drama there. So Guy Leach, the next car to pit.
I think that's just the straight line speed of Trevor Forster. I think he's really missing it in a straight line compared to Gary Hamilton.
It looked like he lifted to me. Like, there should be no way that on the exit of Tower, either that or he was supremely late getting on the throttle. Nah, I just went on board with him. He did lift, David. So I think Forster now is using Hamilton to try and bring up his pace a little.
Wouldn't be the craziest move we've seen. The pit lane is still a pretty popular place. Reese Keane is just left. Chris Barnes and Alex Court are in, which means there's actually now only a couple cars out there that haven't pitted yet, and it's your top three.
So, Guy Leach was the first out of the top guys to pit. So it's Dance, John, and Dobie who have yet to take their stops, as Emily Jones, we believe, may have had another issue.
2 minutes 11 on the last lap. Your guess is as good as mine.
Not listed as pitted, so I'm going to quickly rewind and see what happened to her.
That kind of lap times would suggest that she's parked somewhere and decided on a picnic.
It looks to me like coming out of Tower Turn. Yep, it was a very large spin to remain stationary for a short while, trying to get that thing turned around. Again, it's a case of
car turned around or a corkscrew.
Yes.
Regardless, the car still looks okay and she's still running, but there was a lot of time lost on that particular lap.
Dobie in. Meanwhile, we can see that only leaves 2 cars that have yet to pit. 3 cars, including Emily. My mistake. Sam Dobie, a very quick pit stop from him, and out he goes. So
now Jones takes to the pit lane.
Yes, indeed, and there's quite a bit of damage on that thing. She's probably going to be in there for quite some time. So, Alex John and Cameron Dance, your last 2 cars remaining out there who have not taken a stop yet. Would surely expect them in more towards the end of this lap, but Dance, I don't think, has much to lose by taking his pit stop very late.
He's absolutely flying along right now. Last lap was 1 minute 52.7. There's no one else troubling the 1 minute 52s right now. Dance has a lot of pace and he's only got something to lose from pitting any earlier than he really has to. If you're him, you'd maybe stay out 3 or 4 more laps if those tyres are feeling good.
Yeah, most likely. So we're coming up to, I believe, 8 laps left this one. So Dance out there on his lonesome, continuing on. What was Alex John going to do? He's going to stay out as well. So both of those guys leaving it very late.
6th place, Sam Dobie and Trevor Forster still battling. Forster's been definitely having his fair share of battles out there throughout the whole duration of this race.
Yeah, he certainly has. Forster currently closing up on Sam Dobie. You can see he has got a little bit more straight line speed down the back stretch, but just not able to make complete use of it, and seems like he's not very confident too through Sunset Bend. Could afford to take that a little bit faster, but that's the way it's going to be for now as he starts his lap 15.
And then behind them, Reese Keane, Alex McKellar, and McKellar closed up Keane, I think, about half a second on the previous lap. So that's a battle for 8th. Alex McKellar could potentially close up a little more on Reese Keane this lap as well.
Yeah, certainly could. Slower on the last lap, but does look like he's got a very good car underneath him, and he's been one of the more consistent performers tonight in this particular job. Dance staying out once again as he starts his lap 16. Have a look at the lead that he's got. Last time by it was 19 seconds. It's almost 19.3 now.
But what's important is the 38 seconds he's got over Guy Leach, who's the leading car to have already made the compulsory stop. So when you look at everyone's got an average pit lane time of about 30 seconds. When you take that out of Cam Dance, he's probably net about 18 seconds clear of Guy Leach, and that's his real competition. So if that started rapidly closing, he'd be in trouble. But right now, I think he's definitely got plenty of margin to third place Guy Leach. That whenever Cam Dance decides to take his pit stop, he will hold on to the lead by a relatively comfortable margin, but not quite as dominant as it does look on the timing sheet right now if you don't take into account those compulsory pit stops.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, yeah, it should all work out to give Dance a lead of just under 10 seconds if all goes to plan for him. So, Dance, his lap times have been very good, very consistent in the lead of this one. He's been in the 52s pretty much all race, only venturing into the low 53s every so often. So it's been a good, consistent performance from Dance here. Emily Jones, have just noticed, is now out of the race. So that's another one of our contenders, unfortunately, going.
Yep, indeed. I think I see maybe about
Dance
14 cars still on the lead lap. That's important. I think, will Alex John stay out? Technically could. Cameron Dance, your leader, coming into the pits for his compulsory tyre change.
Yes, indeed. Now, what we shall definitely be interested in here is where will Guy Leach end up in all of this? We know he's basically guaranteed second at this stage.
Pits as well, so that cleanses our field. We, as you say, got our eyes on Leach and McKnight to see where they will be when Cam Dance comes out.
Well, he's just come out
comfortably in the lead.
Yep, he re-enters the track. And that is a very comfortable lead that Cam Dance has got. Guy Leach just crossing the line now. My goodness. So it looks pretty much unassailable here for Leach and McKnight. The best they can do at this stage is try not to mess each other up too much. Get that good finish. John, on the other hand, he's just come out in front of Fewens, who is Lap and McKnight very close behind.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to praise Alex John. It's a good run. Him staying out longer, he's jumped McKnight by doing that, because before the pit stops, McKnight was running in third when he came into the pits. What Alex John has done is what you would refer to as the overcut. He put himself into a podium position, but he is quite close with McKnight, and suddenly there is a little bit of action going on out on circuit.
Yes, indeed there is. So we got to remember this is a battle that we have seen many times over the course of this season. A car that pitted early on versus a car pitting extremely late. The car that pitted later needs a bit more time to get their tyres up to temperature and pressure. So McKnight with the advantage. He's more switched on at the moment. Tyres are a little bit more worn though, and if Alex John can get those tyres up to pressure quickly, he'll have a lot of tread to play with there. But McKnight seems to be holding station. He does seem strong under the brakes. Oh, just having said that, McKnight running a little bit wide through Le Mans. Probably lost him a bit of momentum, but we got to remember he was very strong in the slipstream earlier on. So McKnight will definitely be watching. If he doesn't make a mistake on the next lap, he'll well and truly be on the back of John, and we might see a proper fight here.
McKnight is always interesting to watch in these battles because, like we saw with him and Guy Leach, that while Guy Leach is quicker, McKnight was very, very difficult to get past, very difficult to fight against because he was quick in a straight line. Very frustrating for the other drivers trying to get by him. If he can just get in the slipstream, if he can just trick Alex John into a tiny bit of a mistake. Right now through the infield, I think the tyres are coming up to temperature for Alex John. Should probably take a look at 8th place because Reese Keane and Alex McKellar still close. And McKellar, as I said, was closing it up. Just a little bit closer now.
Yeah, he did make a mistake just then into turn 1. So that's put paid his pursuit for the time being. But he does look mighty aggressive, does McKellar. The battle for 14th and 15th is has also been rather interesting recently. Tyson McAvoy and Simon Black, those guys fighting with each other. Yeah, just ahead of them, they got Alex Cord as well.
At the current rate, yeah, Simon Black is catching pretty quickly. I think Black has just recently gotten past McAvoy, certainly looking a little bit quicker. Now, maybe thinking about grabbing 13th place from Alex Cord.
Yeah, Simon Black, Black's got quite some pace here at the moment, and you can see Court knows that getting defensive, staying in the middle of the road up towards the hairpin, that particular one might not help his momentum too much. Black, of course, with the wider entry, faster exit. Just chipping away at that gap between those two. He's already showing the nose. My goodness, that's quite early to be showing the nose. But they're both managing to keep it together. It's almost like they're playing a little game of chicken there.
I'm sure these two have battled before. Tower corner, Court goes a little bit deeper. It's a later apex. Simon Black gets a better run. It's probably not wise to try and pass through this section. He just needs to stay close, get a good exit, plant the power down smoothly off Le Mans corner here, and think about passing the sunset. But he runs very wide, and behind them, a spin for McAvoy keeps it out of the wall.
Well, that's a shame for McAvoy there. Just managing to get it going. We are on a replay here of this. Got quite excited there behind Black and Court, but just that change of direction got him unsettled.
Yeah, and it's a difficult corner. Section of corners in a car like this, you sort of tracking to the left and you got to turn right and then left and then right. The high speed changes of direction while you're trying to also accelerate or brake. And on a surface that we know is difficult.
Yes, indeed. McKellar and Keane, meanwhile, they're continuing to have their fight up in this older section of the circuit. Look at how aggressive McKellar is on entry. It's pretty awesome to see, but needs to be careful about how late he gets on the brakes. Doesn't want to ruin both of their races by getting Keane in the behind. McKellar, see how much he's pushing. That car looks like it's on the verge of going for a slide every single time he turns that thing in. He's just managing to stay in touch. I think if he focuses on getting on the throttle a bit earlier out of those corners under the long straights, he is getting on the throttle a little bit late. So this might help him.
Wide for Keane, if I'm honest. And McKellar does pick up the throttle when he needs to in Sunset Bend, so Keane is staying to the driver's left-hand side as they approach turn one. That gives Keane the inside. That puts McKellar on the outside, but that's not a deterrent to Alex McKellar, who's holding a lot of pace out there on the outside. Will just get clear of Reese Keane as they approach what I'm going to call turn two.
Yeah, that is awesome stuff there. Great move by McKellar, and oh goodness, and just as we were saying, they collide in a part of the circuit where we didn't expect them to. Oh my goodness, of all the ways for that battle to end. On board with Reese Keane as we take a look at that one, so you'll be able to see Alex McKellar go around the outside in that turn. And then McKellar just gets a little bit slidey in the mid-corner, has to get on the brakes to save it, and King doesn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, indeed. That's very unfortunate. There's such a great move around the outside into turn one, and then just, I guess, the pressure not being able to hold on to it, and the real victim there. The real victim there was Reese Keane, unfortunately, who's gone and lost, I think, about 2 positions from that. I think he's still carrying on.
Well, we will be able to see a winner out of that, and that is Adam Briggs. Remember, he had his incident earlier on in this event, but he's managed to make his way back up into the top 10, and he'll soon be challenging Alex McKellar for 8th place here.
Yep, as you said, early pit stop for Briggs, our championship leader. But following what you've got to do in this series to get the good results, he's just got his head down, found his own little bit of track, just working on a result. Just a second behind Alex McKellar right now.
Further up the field, there is a battle brewing. It is between Jamie McKnight and Gary Hamilton. You see Gary has managed to make his way up to 5th place in the midst of all of this.
Hamilton's flying.
He's rapidly closing in on McKnight.
Yeah, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place Leach John McKnight all doing low 1 minute 53s, but Gary Hamilton last time by 1 minute 52.3, going nearly 9/10 of a second faster than Jamie McKnight. Suddenly, Gary Hamilton has found a lot of speed.
Yeah, he certainly has. You can imagine that Adam Briggs would love to be up there with him, but unfortunately, strategy is dictated otherwise. So Gary Hamilton well and truly switched on in these final stages of the race. Our leader is just coming around to start lap 22, so it'll be the penultimate lap this time round for these guys. So McKnight and Hamilton, the clock is ticking for both of them. They have limited time to sort this out.
Yeah, exactly. But with pace like that, Hamilton will definitely get there. But if McKnight is as much of a straight line rocket as we are maybe thinking, it won't be easy for Hamilton to get past, except for trying to take it around the outside of a fast corner or something, and that carries a lot of risks with it. And 8th place, McKellar and Briggs, my goodness.
Oh, yeah, those guys really getting together at the moment.
On the outside of Sunset Bend, Briggs to the inside of Sunset Bend, and I think Briggs has gone and got that.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. McKellar went very wide when Briggs went for the move, so Adam has managed to carve that little niche for himself, and he's looking pretty good, sitting pretty for a position within the top 7 there. Or top 8, rather. My apologies.
Yep. 8th place is what he has got for himself. And now finally, it is a second between Jamie McKnight and Gary Hamilton for 4th place. So Hamilton again... Oh, actually, last time around, he didn't pull as much out, but clearly so far on this lap, it's been a good one for Gary Hamilton.
Yeah, certainly has. The run from this guy since his incident has been one of steely determination. He's very hell-bent on getting that 4th place back. He probably won't be able to recover back to 2nd where he started this race, but will be, I think, a small victory to get into the top 4 at the end of this one. You can see the gap is already even better than it was even half a lap ago. Jamie McKnight going for the weave to try and deter him, but I don't think that's going to do much in the face of such pressure.
Yeah, and leader Cameron Dance has already taken the white flag, so he's got about 3/4 of a lap to go. And here McKnight and Hamilton will cross the line with 1 lap to go. Great exit out of Sunset Bend for Gary Hamilton. If he can be quick through the middle sectors, he'll be right where he needs to be for a potential move on the last lap. And on that lap, Hamilton was the fastest car out there, eclipsing Cameron Dance's time. A 1 minute 52.3 for Hamilton means he took 1.2 seconds out of McKnight last time, and a wiggle for McKnight. Hamilton is right there.
Yeah, he certainly is. This could almost be a dive bomb at the hairpin, but I don't think Hamilton will do that. McKnight briefly going defensive. Have a look at Hamilton. A little bit of a look. He's going to have to wait for the next braking zone to make his move, maybe even tower. Or will he stay behind McKnight for the rest of the lap and do the move into Sunset where it can't be recovered from? Well, McKnight is going defensive once again. Hamilton staying steadfast on the bumper of the 0270 RT machine.
Yep, the West End Mazda man, Jamie McKnight, is not going to make this easy for Gary Hamilton. Hopefully not going to do anything silly either.
Meanwhile,
Got to
our
quickly
leader...
look at, Cameron Dance crossing the line with a little wiggle left, right. He's happy with that.
Yeah, he certainly is. Dominant victory for Dance, and Guy Leach is going to finish second there. Alex John currently sitting third, but this battle for fourth is going off right now. McKnight all the way over to the wall, and Hamilton has got the mother of all runs down the back stretch. They're probably going to go side by side through Sunset Bend. Look at McKnight, he's going to go for the lunge there. Hamilton has to give him room. Oversteers on the bump. What a valiant effort from Hamilton, but he has not managed to get it done.
Sam Doby will come through. Gary Hamilton will lose a spot from that. Good on him, as brave as he was, trying to take that position around the outside of Sunset Bend. It's never going to be easy.
Certainly not, especially with Jamie McKnight trying to defend on the inside. Replay of that. You can just see Hamilton gave McKnight the room that he asked for, but in the process, there's that big bump right in the middle of Sunset Bend that unsettles you. Hamilton, unfortunately, was no match in the face of that.
So just about only a couple cars left on the lead lap to cross the finish line. It was a high attrition, but glimmers of interest race around Sebring.
Yeah, certainly was a very good event, all things considered, from reasonable racing perspective. So we'll briefly run through these results. Cameron Dance, your victor here tonight. Guy Leach and Alex John completing the podium. A great run from John. McKnight, another good run in fourth, managing to just hold off Gary Hamilton. He has to settle for sixth behind Sam Doby. Trevor Forster in seventh, with Adam Briggs recovering from his earlier incident to finish eighth. Alex McKellar in ninth, and rounding out the top 10, Craig Newell.
11th place is Reese Keane. 12th is Simon Black. 13th is Derek Mobbs. 14th, well, Chris Barnes has moved up 11 spots to be there, so that's a good run from him. 15th is Alex Court. 16th, Scott Harvey. 17th, Tyson McAvoy. 18th, John Nicolay. 19th, Jason Fewens. And 20th, Aaron, and a couple of laps off the lead, Aaron Bolkwell.
We now move into retirement territory. Emily Jones, an unfortunate victim of this race, as was Vincent Skilbeck, Sean Caron as well. Hayden Dobman, Ash Lear, and Mitch McLeod, the three Talk Boys, out on the same lap. Really unfortunate for those guys. But that is your 26-car grid here tonight. And it seems that we have now reached the end of proceedings for tonight, David. Certainly was interesting to see how these drivers tackled the bumps of Sebring, but now they go to a place where the track surface is mostly the same, but the walls are a bit closer. We're going to Belle Isle next week.
Yeah, my goodness, they're going to have to be so careful at that circuit in these cars if we want to have a podium that actually make it to the checkered flag. I think some interesting things take away from this round, though, is Cameron Dance taking that lead. That will close him up to the top of the championship standing, because he finished ahead of Aaron Lee, ahead of Alex McKellar, and ahead of Adam Briggs, who occupy the top three in the standings right now. So that'll make it all just a little bit closer as we get towards the end of this season.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We do have our race winner in the commentary booth with us right now. Cameron Dance, that was the most dominant victory I think we've ever seen you take. Happy with that, I suppose?
Yeah, absolutely. Stoked to have got win number 2 in the bag for the series so far. So, yeah, pretty good. I did think the car was actually going to be a little bit of a handful and the race was actually going to be a bit more competitive. But after what happened at the hairpin, it was pretty much just smooth sailing from that point and just kept putting in the laps to pretty much pull away.
Do you think there's anything that you'll be able to do in the final couple of rounds to assault the top 3?
At this point, I think it's just consistent results and point scores. I mean, at the end of the day, we've just seen specifically 2 of the title contenders pretty much end their race on lap 2 effectively. So it's just going to be about consistency and making sure we get consistent points finishes to become into the championship hunt.
Well, before we let you go, Cam, who would you like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just like to thank the boys at TTR Esports as always, and our sponsors, SimWorks, Race Simulators, Thigh Designs, and Down Under Graphics, and you guys for putting on an awesome show.
Thank you very much, Cameron. Cameron Dance of New Zealand, there, your race winner here in the Oceanic Formula 3 Championship at Sebring. I tell you what, Adam Briggs and Alex McKellar finishing down the order in the lower reaches of the top 10, that is definitely going to impact their championship battle. And if anything, it removes the ability for Alex McKellar to make any more of a headway on Adam Briggs' championship lead.
Yeah, exactly. It's not out of the reach of anyone with 2 rounds to go. And we've seen that just about anything can happen, even to the most skilled drivers in this series. So there's no conclusions to be drawn yet at all about who could be our inaugural Oceanic Sim Racing Formula 3 champion.
Yeah, exactly right. I tell you what, before we go for the night, I think we will have to bring in Mr. Alex John there, your 3rd place finisher. Alex, you're on the podium from 10th place. You must be happy with that one.
Yeah, that was an awesome race. Just try to keep it calm, keep it simple, and try and get through the carnage.
Yeah, it seemed there was quite a bit of carnage there. Do you think Sebring really lends itself to attrition-filled races in cars like this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had a couple of moments where I had to 4th pedal it and slam on all pedals. But, like heaps of people going off. So, I'm happy. I just wanted to keep it straight and, got there in the end.
Well, are you hoping for another attrition-brought podium at Belle Isle?
Oh, yeah, I love Belle Isle, so I'll be looking forward to that one. Hopefully just qualify closer to the front so I can be a bit closer to first place at the end.
Well, best of luck to you in that, Alex. Any shout-outs before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to my teammate Alex McKellar and Top Split TV as well, sponsor. So, great to have them on board. Thanks.
Thank you very much as well, Alex. That was Alex John, your 3rd place finisher. And David, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. We're going to be at Belle Isle next week and then Laguna Seca the week after, the final fortnight of this championship.
Yep, indeed. Good night, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.